There may be explicit language in today's episode. Viewer discretion is advised.
Alex?
Yes.
I would like to introduce the thing that I got an extended warranty on. I lost. Oh, that's one. That's one. I'll allow that one. I'll allow that one because that one actually slipped. But yeah. So Jonah's making his debut on the channel. He's been on twice on the other channel.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
But yeah. So that standard we were talking about before the season started. Listen. By the way, couldn't find my cord for my microphone, so I got no microphone. But listen, I'm guilty. When Russ started playing well and the offense was doing well, I'll admit I was starting to change my mind a little bit. So I'm guilty of it too. I will admit that. However, I can't even get it out. Dude, it's the same. It feels like the same thing every year. Now, guess what? Now you lost back-to-back, and now you face Kansas City. And I know, I said it before. The Christmas game seems to be the Steelers game, but guess what? You aren't playing the Las Vegas Raiders. You are not playing the Cincinnati Bengals. You are playing the team that is probably going to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Cake's still alive.
Man, I mean, Jonah, you haven't been on in a year, so what? I'll give you a little time to talk about what you've seen this season, and of course where we are now.
So, I don't even know where to start. I think Russell Wilson is probably the answer, at least for the immediate future. I think I've read things like sign him to a $100 million contract for the next, 3-4 years, whatever. I don't really give a shit. But, I just think there's a consistent habit of us underperforming anytime there's a meaningful, late in the season game. We started off so well. And were we playing crappy teams? Probably. But at the same time, I drank the Kool-Aid. I drank the Kool-Aid so hard. I was literally Steelers are going to win the Super Bowl. I'm delusional. I realize delusional, but I drank the Kool-Aid so hard. The last couple weeks, we have some serious holes. Especially, and Pickens has been out, but I feel like our wide receiver going down should not have this drastic of a impact.
Yeah.
And sure. And I think we'll be fine. I mean, we have the playoff spot locked up. But I mean, the AFC is freaking tough, man.
Yeah,
really is.
I even having to play the Broncos. For whatever reason, if we draw the Broncos in the playoffs, I don't want to play the Broncos right now. They're a tough team.
Yeah.
But looking at Christmas Day, again, I'm delusional. I'm not a smart person. There's no way that Chiefs team only loses one game all year. You know what I mean? There's no way they only lose one game all year. Why not the Steelers? Why not the Steelers?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Why not the Steelers? It's a home game, Christmas Eve. We're in the mud right now. This is a perfect reverse Tomlin trap game. The trap game earlier this year was against the Browns. We dropped the Browns on Thursday Night Football in the snow. This is a reverse trap game for Tomlin. Bulletin board material, everyone, all the other national medias, talking their game. This is where we go, and we've put the Chiefs where they belong. Because I think, call me crazy. I think the Steelers can go into Heinz Field on Christmas Day and beat Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs.
I mean,
Possible.
Alex, we have said this since the beginning of the season that the Christmas game is the Steelers game. Because Jonah, like, I'm just talking about history. What happened 2 years ago on Christmas? Mr. Pickett's game winner against game winner against the Las Vegas Raiders to George Pickens in the Franco game, which was I don't care how that ended up.
Electric.
You cannot deny that play was awesome.
No, yeah, exactly. The immaculate extension, Antonio Brown against the Ravens. That was Christmas Eve, like roughly 8 years ago now.
Yeah,
iconic.
Yeah. And then
everything's lining up for the Steelers to upset the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm. But and then last year, Mason Rudolph just coming out of nowhere, just slinging it against the Bengals.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Everything's lining up for us to beat the Chiefs, but there's a real possibility we don't win a playoff game again this year.
Yeah.
And I'll ask you guys, like, then what?
We're not sponsored.
Oh, then what? We reload and do the same thing again next year. I mean,
yeah. But here's the thing. So, listen, I'm always 50-50 on Mike Tomlin. But the thing that irks me every year too, it's another thing, is some fans say, Tomlin's got to go. Okay, who are you going to replace him with?
Exactly. Yeah. Like, where the
You're not going to get Ben Johnson or whoever's available. So.
And you also have to realize, like, the Steelers everyone knows this. We've had 3 head coaches since 1969. My parents weren't alive in 1969. Like, they're not getting rid of Tomlin. So everyone that, complains about it just needs to, like, relax. And, okay, does Tomlin have his issues? Yes. But 80% of the other – I'd probably say 95% of the other NFL teams would kill to have Tomlin as their head coach because, like, we're just spoiled,
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
I will say the thing that seems different about the Steelers this year is they have, I believe, one of the 4 best records in the entire league against current playoff teams. They're like 6-2 or something like that against playoff teams this year, I think. So,
yeah. And again, it's frustrating because I feel like it's the same thing every year, but you have to realize, like, we have a super young offensive line. We have super young skill position players on the offensive side of the ball. Our defense is always good, but, like, the offensive side, like, it's going to take time to get there. I think next year we really see the offensive line take that next step into actual just, like, hard dudes. Like, they're going to go and beat you up, and they're going to run the ball. And I think they've taken steps in the right direction this year. But, like, I'm thinking back to the days with, like, Pouncey, DeCastro, Villanueva, Marcus Gilbert. Like, those guys would, like Pouncey, if you touched Ben, if you breathed on him wrong, Pouncey would jump you outside the stadium. Like,
you would.
Yeah, like, and we're getting to that point. Like, I was super bummed out this year when Troy Fatanu, is that how you pronounce his last name?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, whatever. When he went down, because I saw it, like, he's just a big old Samoan dude. He's just gonna kick the crap out of you, and, like,
yeah,
I loved him. When he went down, I was super upset. But Zach Frazier's that guy too. Like, he's gonna mess with you. He's gonna, bite dirty. But, like, we're taking the steps in the right direction with the offensive line, I think.
Yeah.
I think Mason McCormick's even been surprising when he played this year, the rookie guard.
Broderick Jones is absolute trash, but everyone else is doing fine.
Yeah.
But and also, okay, yeah, so I'll admit right here, I have been so busy the last few days because I've just been working, so I did not see the Steelers game. But it seemed to me that shocking, the turnovers were a problem it's a problem for anybody if you turn the ball over, obviously, but with the turnovers Russ had, but he still had 2 touchdowns. But yeah, he did throw 1 pick. He did fumble once, and not great. But
I mean, that fumble was the game, I think.
It was. I was just about to say that.
even though it was super early on, that fumble was the game. Like, because we were driving, I think it was a tie game at that point. If we go down and put 7 on the board, and we're up 7, and we're gonna Steelers it up, like, it's going to be close, but like at least we still have that barrier of leading. But that was, I think that was the game there because we were just playing from behind for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was tough. That was tough. I mean, we were running the ball pretty well. Couldn't stop the run at all.
No, Derrick Henry absolutely just had his way with our defense.
Yeah.
That was the first time, in my opinion, that Derrick Henry truly had his way with an AFC North team as well.
Mm-hmm. And Derrick Henry also found his queen, Patrick Queen. But Lamar did have 3 touchdowns as well, and of course the Steelers are sitting at 10-5 on the year, and of course play Kansas City and Cincinnati to end the year. So, and obviously the division is still right there.
Well, I was just about to say, we went from certainly winning the division to having a less than 50% odd of winning the division in one game.
Yeah, we completely pissed down our leg. Like, it was bad.
Mm-hmm. But we'll see what happens. Like, football. Hey. Okay. I said this on the preview before the Edinburgh and Robert Morris game, and I'm going to say it again right now. Football is a crazy sport, and anything can happen. Never say never. And I will leave it at that. But,
speaking of this, actually, real quick.
Oh, God.
I just saw a reel on Facebook yesterday or the day before of Rob Gronkowski doing a little talk of the whippeal. So shout out Gronk.
You're outnumbered.
I saw that too, but that was awesome.
You're outnumbered. Shut up.
Shout out Gronk.
But no, Jonah. I always tell Alex. I said, "See, listen, I'm D10, but yeah, Greenville." I'm proud. I'm proud. I went to Greenville, but it's just funny to joke about. But in other NFL stuff, once again, Steeler fans were wrong. Kenny saw the field. but yeah, no.
Only took a Jalen Hurts concussion, which is what we probably all expected to be the reason he saw the field this year, at least.
Yeah, oh, for sure. But yeah, Kenny did see the field. By the way, I'm going to mention this real quick because it deserves to be talked about first. Freaking Saquon Barkley. Oh, my God, dude.
Was he like 270 yards away from the record, I think?
Oh, my God, dude. Like, 100 yards in the first quarter, not the half. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not misspeaking here. The quarter. And he ended the game with 29 carries, 150 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So now, if the people watching this are wondering, no, Kenny did not light the world on fire, but he is a backup, and he played like a backup, and he did hit. And from what I know and saw, and I watched highlights and everything, because I try to watch highlights on games I don't watch. Even first, I go with the Steelers and my teams, and then anything else interesting. And of course, I'm still going to support Kenny, but he did the best he could to manage the game in a tough situation. Because if you keep in mind, he has always done not poorly, but like he always is not. He's shaky when he has to come in for either an injured player or a bench guy. Same thing when I saw it back at Pitt right before he started to start regularly, but he did have a touchdown to A.J. Brown. He also threw a pick that was a pretty bad decision.
That was horrible.
It was a bad. So the way I look at that pick was that it was a pick that a backup would throw, and he's also probably rusty too. But nonetheless, it was still bad. But he was 14 for 24, 143 yards, 1 touchdown and a pick. But hey, man. He got to play for his childhood team. Good for him. I'm glad the Eagles lost. Another thing that's just as important as Saquon, Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, I was just
24 for 39. 24 for 39, 258 yards, 5 touchdowns, 2 picks. Jeez. And here's the thing, too. The Eagles would have won that game if Devontae Smith would have caught that ball that Kenny threw him. The Eagles would have probably ran the ball out and ran the clock down, and they would have won. But if Smith didn't drop that, then that's probably what would have happened. But
Jaden Daniels having a true Matt Stafford-esque game. Still got to throw the 2 picks in there.
Yeah.
But lit the world on fire every other throw he made.
But yeah, also one more game I want to mention just because of just an unfortunate thing was the Texans and the Chiefs game, which I think you guys know where I'm going with this now.
Yeah.
Tank Dell. Was it dislocated, just dislocated knee in general?
I think so.
Torn ACL, a lot more damage than knee. Just awful. And I mean, the final score was 24-19, but like that doesn't matter when a big injury happens. And you can even tell CJ was just tearing, and understandably so. That's his teammate, but he was tearing up during the press conference and everything. But yeah. So hopefully Tank Dell can bounce back from this and he will be all right for next season. To bring a little joy back after that, and we can talk about more games in a little bit after we're done with the college football playoffs. But speaking of the Houston Texans, first of all, because somebody told me this before I came home after work. Okay, yeah, it's true. The Texans claimed Deontay Johnson off of waivers. So,
Jesus.
So from my understanding, gentlemen, the Ravens actually helped us out. They gave us an early Christmas gift. Even after the loss, they said, "Hey, it's Christmas. I know we beat you, but it's Christmas. So I will give you personally this gift." They blocked Deontay Johnson from going to the Steelers. So thank you, Baltimore. Much appreciated. But before we move on to the college football playoffs, I want to give Jonah time to talk about something, and that's his GOAT, and I know it's his GOAT. Jonah, would you like to talk about Mr. Chris Boswell for a little bit?
Yes, I absolutely would. I'm glad you. So just a little background. For fantasy football every year for the last
I remember this
8 years, in every fantasy league I've been in, I've taken Boswell with my first pick and then auto draft the rest of my team because I'm big on player development. But I normally finish last, so I'm obsessed with Boswell. The dude is the best kicker in the league. Like, what's the guy's name from Dallas?
Aubrey.
Yeah, he can eat it. Yeah, that guy sucks. I don't care. I don't care how far he can kick ball. Boswell's the man. He's been doing it so consistently for so long. I feel like people don't talk about him enough. I actually, I DM'd him the one night. I DM'd him and never heard anything back, and I'm still crushed about it. And this was years ago. Like, I think I was in high school, and he went through like a little kicking slump, and I DM'd him in high school. I'm like, "Dear Mr. Boswell," like. Started out like that, like a long paragraph, and opened it, never responded. But he's still my guy. I love Boz. But no, yeah, he's the best kicker in the league. I think he's probably going to end up setting the he already set the single season point record for the Steelers, right?
I believe so.
I think so.
Yeah, like the dude's a stud. He's a weird looking guy, but like I like him. Just does his own thing. He's not flashy.
So here's the thing. One of my favorite things from Chris Boswell's career, and I'm talking like, obviously my favorite thing is when he kicks field goals and makes it like literally every time. But my favorite thing was when the Steelers beat the Bucs 2 years ago, and Matt Canada was celebrating, and
Yeah.
Boswell was like, "Sure as hell wasn't because of you."
Yeah, boss. Like, I just scored all of our points, you idiot. What are you celebrating for? No, the
Dude.
boss is awesome. Yeah, and like people don't take it. Like Heinz Field is one of the hardest fields to kick on in the NFL. Like
Oh,
that's
absolutely.
very well known. And he kicks there every week. He very rarely misses. He bangs long 50-yarders. Like the dude's a stud. Hit absolute piss missiles from wherever he wants.
Oh,
My bad.
it's all right.
You got me on the Boswell. I got a little worked up. I'm sorry. But the dude's a stud. I'll leave it at that.
See, no, I don't get too worked up about the F-bombs on the Zoom shows because I actually can write it down in the studios. I actually have to go back and watch because nobody keeps track of the time.
Sucks. Yeah, my fault.
Nah, you're
No,
good.
dude's a stud. Dude's a stud.
But yeah. So but all right, moving on. The first round games were kind of disappointing. Alex, I know you are. You two are obviously fine with the outcomes that happen, but in terms of like journalistic football fan, kind of disappointing. From a journalistic point of view, unbiased journalistic point of view, it was
Not even a journalistic point of view. Just like the average fan wanting to sit down and watch a good football game on a Saturday, you didn't get that.
Yeah.
If you could even see it because there were NFL games on constantly.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I gotta talk about this for a second because there's one I get it. The first round games were a bit disappointing, but there's one take that I need to address because to me it is the most brain dead take of all time. Because everyone is whining and pissing and moaning about teams getting home field advantage in the first round.
I don't care. I don't mind.
The dumbest take of all time. Suck less, and then your team gets a home game. Now, do you still have to rely on the committee to give you the higher seed in some regard? Yes, but just don't lose football games and you get a higher seed. I don't know what to tell you. I can't even tell you how many Vols fans and Hoosiers fans I saw that were so mad about home field advantage. And all I know is not a single one of them would have said a single thing if their team was the one playing at home. And both of those teams still would have lost, even at home. All the Tennessee fans were talking about kneeling up north, going into the shoe and playing Ohio State. Clearly not. Your team is not good enough. Hoosiers fans, I don't even have anything to say to you because you all suck and I hate your entire program. So, and I hate Kurt Signetti. So stuff it. Not a single person in college football wants to hear a single complaint from the losingest team in all of Division I football.
Damn, that's
Get
crazy.
over it.
I completely agree with you, Alex. Like, of those 4 games, I think you could have played those games in, Texas, State College, wherever, Africa, the Sahara Desert. I don't care. I think the winners of those games would have won those games no matter where they were.
Me too.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it really matters. I mean, and I thought about this. Like, you think about it, like, obviously there's, all the favorites won. But if, like, you think about, like, March Madness, like, that starts off a lot like, there are blowouts in the first round most of the time.
Yeah.
And I think that was the case with this. This was the first round of the playoffs. There were I think they were all blowouts. But I think this next round, I think that's when we're going to start getting, like, some of the good classic games that we all really want.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Can we talk about how the SMU quarterback was just being a complete spaz that game?
He was seeing good.
Yeah, Kevin Jennings kind of spazzed out in their last 2 games of the season. I don't know what happened there. He did it against Clemson, and then he did it again against Penn State. I'm just going to leave that up to him literally being a freshman, personally.
Can you imagine being, 18, 19 years old and going into State College in front of 100,000 plus people? And they're screaming
during a whiteout.
a whiteout game and it's the college football, no, I mean, I think he's a very good player. I think he's
an amazing player for sure.
Yeah. But he made freshman dumb boneheaded throws and it happens. I almost felt bad for the guy. Not too bad, but I'm like, this he did not play well.
Well, regardless of who you're a fan of, you can't feel too bad for him because he still did it. But
yeah, but I was just like he was it was so all those interceptions were so bad. So bad.
Yeah, he seemed pretty moonstruck out there. I'm not going to lie. It was definitely not his day.
No, but again, if he's a freshman, he'll be all right.
Yeah, I mean, SMU is going to be right back in the hunt again next year.
Yeah.
Especially playing in the ACC. They might have an even better shot at winning the ACC next year. Even though I think, ironically enough, in this age of the transfer portal, I think Dabo might actually be resurging Clemson again. Which, by the way, Dabo signed someone from the portal, guys. He got someone from the portal.
Finally happened.
Holy cow!
Oh my god! But by the way, before we're not ready to move on yet. But when we get to the disappointment segment, I'm actually going to change that to you can do either one for pick whatever from the 4 teams. But we're going to do every team's disappointment from this season or why they won't win the Super Bowl, because it's by each division, so we can't do, and it's already too far into the season. We can't do obviously teams that have already been eliminated, just for clarification when we get to there. But yeah, I mean, Pitt didn't make the tournament, so I can't talk. I didn't see any of the games because I was working. But I mean, Jonah, I don't want it. Like I said, I don't want it to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. Might happen. But to be fair, I'm going to be fair here. For Penn State to beat Boise State, all you have to do is stop Ashton Genty and you're fine.
Put 9 in the freaking box. I don't care what we have to do. I don't know anyone else on that Boise State team other than Ashton Genty. Put 9 guys in the box and then make adjustments from that if we have to. I don't know what the quarterback's capability is. I don't know any other skill. I don't know anything else about Boise State other than Ashton Genty's a dog, and it's going to be a tough task at our hand, obviously.
Yeah.
I now know Boise State's quarterback's name. I think we figured that out last week, but I now remember his name.
Is he any good?
Maddox Madson's not bad. I think he's actually going to be pretty good next year. I'm not going to lie.
There you go. But
Clemson so far, by the way, has grabbed a 4-star and a 3-star in the transfer portal.
There you go.
So,
there you go.
Interesting. They grabbed a 4-star edge rusher and a 3-star receiver.
Yeah. But also, by the way, this is the first week of 3 shows a week, Road to 100. Wish me luck.
Yeah.
Alex and I will do a Edinburgh football season review sometime next week. So watch out for that. The debate between our friends Callis and Caleb is this Friday, and they at the beginning. Jesus. Let me tell you something. Little preview. Beginning and the end, they went at it. It was funny. It was actually kind of funny, but yeah. So Alex. Jonah talked about what they got to do against Boise State to move on. Who does Ohio State play next again?
They play Oregon and Pasadena at the Rose Bowl.
Okay. So what do you think? What does Ohio State have to do to make sure that they do not lose to Oregon for the second time? Because it was 1 point. It was only 1. Just 1.
Pretty much exactly what they did this past week. I think it's pretty simple. I think they got to come out with the same ferocity they came out with against Tennessee. Dylan Gabriel is also very mobile, very athletic, great passer. Oregon's obviously got a couple more weapons than Tennessee, I think. But, yeah, I think coming out with the same ferocity, coming out with the defense, Blitz Knowles Blitz. That's my nickname for Jim Knowles now, even though it sounds like I'm saying Knowles like Seminoles, but I'm not because they suck. Yeah, I think Ohio State comes out. They just have to dominate the line of scrimmage, not let Dylan Gabriel get too comfortable in the pocket. And Will Howard's got to do some Will Howard stuff. Jeremiah Smith, 8 against Tennessee. Went absolutely nuts. Here, I'll pull up the stats real quick while I'm sitting here. But yeah, he went
real quick, almost forgot to promote this. This episode, at the end of this show, it is my athlete spotlight that I did with Elo by myself in the studio. So that is at the end of this show. A lot of editing that I have to do. I've not edited it yet. So
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Jeremiah Smith went 6 for 103 for 2 touchdowns. Travion Henderson averaged 8 yards per carry, had 2 rushing touchdowns. Will Howard was 24 for 29, 311, 2 touchdowns, and a really, really weird pick in the end zone. That would have put them up like 28-0, I believe, because it was 21-0, and then it was weird. He threw the ball into the end zone. The defender jumped up. It like was in Jeremiah Smith's hands. It bounced off of the defender that was in coverage. And then I forget his name, but one of Clemson's really good DBs came flying over out of nowhere and just like barely picked it. They called it a pick on the field. That was one of those plays where like the call on the field was just going to stand because it was just too close to determine to like overrule the calling. So they called it a pick on the field. Stood as a pick on the field. I don't necessarily disagree with the call. Yeah. So come out, dominate, win the line of scrimmage. Ohio State. Tennessee's got a pretty big D line, and they pushed him around pretty good, kept Will Howard clean, and Texas finally seems like they're rolling again. Their offense was smoking hot against Clemson this weekend. So
yeah, but yeah. So by the way, I just keep forgetting stuff because of the day this airs. Gentlemen, Merry Christmas.
I know, right?
Ooh.
Crazy.
It's crazy how pre-recorded stuff works. But yeah, so all right, so real quick, NFL previews. Obviously the Steelers have the Chiefs, and this is the only one I'm going to ask this question for. I'll just go through all the games since rapid fire is over, and Haley won and I did not. Wait, I almost forgot, Alex. We got to see who won the losers bracket. That's right.
Shoot.
That's right. But yeah, so while I get that up, I'll ask this question real quick. So for the third straight year in a row, for a Christmas miracle to happen, gentlemen, what do the Steelers need to do to beat the Kansas City Chiefs?
I think they need to control the clock. Like, I think time of possession is going to be a massive factor in this game. Like, if we run the ball well and we dictate the control of the game, like, we'll go at our own pace. If we set our own pace, I think we'll be okay. If we're kind of like, playing tag with the Chiefs, like trying to catch up to them the whole time, and it's just not going to happen. Like, I feel like we need to have a lead going into the fourth quarter, which I don't have any stats from me. I feel like that doesn't happen too often with the Steelers, that we actually have a lead going into the fourth quarter. And we need to, finish games too. Like, I think running the ball in the line of scrimmage is going to be massive for us.
Also, Mike, with the losers bracket. So Dom did he send you his picks, I assume?
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna lie, I totally forgot to do my picks. So I could either coin flip every game, or I'd just give it to Dom because I forgot to do it, and for the story.
Okay.
I missed the playoffs this year. I disappointed. Didn't get the three-peat like I expected. I'm willing to take the fall on this one. It's a gentleman's game.
My phone's about to die, so if you want to put in our group chat that Dom, you're giving the W to Dom, go right ahead.
I think I'm going to, but I do kind of want to coin flip all the games just to see what would happen. But I think I'm probably going to give it to him. I'm just going to let him have it.
Yeah, I'll worry about that later.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll see what happens. I mean, my predictions this entire time is that this is the Steelers game every year. So we'll see what happens. Now, here's the thing, though. If the Steelers beat the Chiefs and they win the division, does Justin Fields start against the Bengals?
So if they win this week, do they definitely win the division?
And I think Baltimore. It's either that and Baltimore has to lose, I'm assuming, since they lost to Baltimore, or maybe not. I'd have to look.
I don't know how the tiebreakers are going to work out because of that. It might come down to week 18. I was under the impression that the Steelers have to win the next two to definitely win the division. barring Baltimore and Pittsburgh finishing with the same record and then tiebreakers working out however they do. Actually, I'm going to try and look up real quick playoff scenarios for the AFC.
Subscribe.
I can't believe the freaking Cowboys got eliminated from the playoffs and knocked the Bucs out of first place in the division.
I was so upset last night watching that game. I was so mad. I hate the Cowboys. I love Baker. Mike McCarthy has saved his job. Like these last couple weeks, winning some games, like with Cooper Rush playing decent, like I think he saved his job.
Yeah.
Here we go again. These teams ain't gonna win.
All right, hold on. Let me get to the AFC playoff picture. This website is so slow.
By the way, are we continuing upset alert, by the way?
We can. I haven't kept track of it in like weeks.
I'll give you what? I'll give you a spoiler right now if we do it. I haven't looked at any lines, and I'm not going to. Whatever the Steelers line is against the Chiefs, give it to me. I'm not
Okay, so I don't have the whole thing, but
I'm not looking at
the Steelers are still in first place in the division because of a 1-game lead over the Ravens in AFC games. The Ravens do play the Texans and the Browns to finish the year. We play Chiefs Bengals, obviously, both at home. So, yeah, I believe pending a Baltimore loss to either, on the road at Houston's not going to be easy.
Yeah, no.
So pending a Baltimore loss in Houston, we more than likely have to beat the Chiefs and the Bengals to really, truly, win the division and not have any. Obviously, you want to win the last two because that locks up the division. It's unfortunate that the Ravens play two AFC teams to finish the year as well because of that AFC record tiebreaker, but it's gonna be tight.
A little tight, but
a little bit.
But yeah, so those are that games, and literally those two games are this Wednesday on Christmas Day. The Seahawks take on the Bears on Thursday, and then on Saturday the Chargers take on the Patriots. The Broncos take on the Bengals. Cardinals take on the Rams. The Jets take on the Bills. Now we're on Sunday. The Raiders take on the Saints. The Colts take on the Giants. The Cowboys take on the Eagles, and Jalen Hurts in the air, so Kenny Pickett could be making his first Eagles start. The Panthers taking on the Bucks. Titans taking on the Jags. Dolphins taking on the Browns. Packers taking on the Vikings. That one's going to be interesting. The Falcons taking on the Commanders, and the Lions taking on the 49ers. So those are the games. But all right, gentlemen, here we go. Every team's disappointment or reasons why they're not going to win the Super Bowl. And we are doing the NFC North, and I'll go first. And this one is going to be for Super Bowl, and that's the Detroit Lions. And I think what's going to kill their run to go for the Super Bowl is what's been killing them all year, and that is their injuries. They are too banged up. Losing Hutch was the start. But here's the thing, though. They are still playing good football. But in the playoffs, I don't think that's going to cut it. So, but they will put up a fight because Dan Campbell is awesome. But yeah, so that is my for the Lions. So whoever wants to go next can go next.
Jonah, I'll let you go next.
I will go with why the Vikings won't win the Super Bowl. And I'm just going to say Sam Darnold. I think he's had a fantastic season. Couldn't be happier that he's, finally doing well. Like whatever we saw at USC, it's back. But I just think he's going to get to a playoff game, especially if they have to go to Philly. If the Vikings have to go to Philly, I think Sam Darnold is going to piss down his leg and ruin the game.
So here's the thing with mine, and we can skip one. That is exactly what I was going to say for the Vikings.
I was going to say the injuries with the Lions too, so I went a different way with the Vikings. But yeah. But,
So I'll go with the Vikings like Jonah, but I'll actually go with probably their biggest disappointment this year instead of their reason to not win the Super Bowl. This is tough because this team has overperformed greatly this year. But I would say, unfortunately, as much as I hate to say it, because I'm a big fan of him, I would say the Vikings' biggest disappointment this year is probably Aaron Jones. He struggled to stay on the field at times. Great when he's on the field, but he has struggled to stay on the field at times. I'm sure they were hoping to keep him healthy. And I'd say if you had to pick a disappointment, 'cause I don't even really know if it's a disappointment, but if you had to pick a disappointment from this team this year, it would probably be him just because of his health. Because that whole team has overachieved this year. Brian Flores and the defense are great. Kevin O'Connell and the offense are rolling with perennial pumpkin watch Sam Darnold playing quarterback for them. So.
So yeah, but that was my thing with the Vikings too, is that they're just Sam Darnold is unproven in the playoffs, and that's gonna hurt. So
now this is the thing that's interesting though.
Mhm.
Darnold's this year and then done unless he gets re-signed.
Mhm.
Do the Vikings fall for the trap and sign him to not necessarily a Daniel Jones-esque contract, but do they give him money to stay there and let JJ sit for longer?
I was gonna say, what is their stance on JJ in that case?
I think you have to sign Darnold. Like, not crazy money or anything, but like he's like as soon as JJ McCarthy got injured, everyone wrote this team off, and he has them in a really good spot to go on a deep playoff run, I think. And again, I know I just say he's probably going to like absolutely ruin it for them, but like they're a super, super strong team, and he's been playing really, really well. I think they'd be pretty stupid not to at least sign him to an extension, and then okay, once McCarthy's back, okay, you guys can have a quarterback competition, and we'll see what happens. But
quarterback competition.
Yeah.
What's that?
Just see who can freaking play. I mean, and they also have a first round pick invested in McCarthy, so I don't know. I don't like JJ McCarthy. I think he sucks, but
it's a weird situation.
Yeah.
But
you draft a guy, you trade up to draft a guy, you expect him to be the guy. He gets hurt in the preseason. And then the guy who has literally been awful his entire career up until this point steps in and you're 13-2. It's weird.
But yeah, so we're gonna save the one team that everybody probably loves to crap on, rightfully so, in the NFC North for last. I'm gonna get the one out of the way that was kind of tough for me. In the Packers, I actually like the Packers, so it was hard to decide. But then I did a little bit more research to just back stuff up from other than from what I've seen. And I guess for not winning the Super Bowl, if I had to pick something from the Packers, I'm gonna go with their inconsistent pass rush this year.
It's a good one.
So yeah, I mean, Jordan Love is Jordan Love. I like Jordan Love a lot, but if you had to nitpick, like a lot of sports media people do, I'm gonna go with the pass rush. So I think that's gonna be the main reason why that they are not gonna win the Super Bowl. So
I'm gonna go with one that I was gonna go with anyway, but I actually surprisingly was expecting my opinion to be swayed a little bit because I didn't know for sure, but I'm actually more confident in my answer now because I just looked at his stats. Romeo Doubs has been very inconsistent this year, had some injury problems as well, so you got to consider that. But he's only got 37 catches for like 500 yards and 4 touchdowns this year. He's had his moments, but he's really not producing the way I think they anticipated him to this year. Because I think they kind of anticipated him to be the one to step up. I know Christian Watson's long and fast, and he's kind of got that wild card to him where he could be great at any given moment. But I think they were expecting Dobbs to be the guy to kind of really step in and establish himself, and he just really hasn't.
The Pens beat the Flyers 7-3.
I forgot to say it. I literally looked at it like 20 minutes ago.
But yeah, so Jonah, do you have anything? You have yours for Packers?
I have a couple different directions I want to go with this. One is Matt LaFleur. Like, I think he's a phenomenal coach, but I'm pretty sure the Packers played the Buccaneers in the NFC Championship game, or maybe the divisional rounds. I'm not sure.
No, it was the championship game in
The champion.
2020,
Okay.
2021
Yes,
season. Yeah.
and he made a horrible coaching decision and let Tom Brady just kind of milk the clock out. I don't think he'll do that again because I think Matt LaFleur is a really smart guy and he learned from that probably, and that was several years ago. I think it could come down to I feel like the Packers are like young and inexperienced on the offense side of the ball.
Mhm.
I think it will come down to Josh Jacobs, can he run the ball consistently, which he's been phenomenal this year, but will he be able to continue to run the ball consistently this year in case Jordan Love has like a younger guy game or their skill positions have a younger guy game in the playoffs? So that's kind of but I really like the Packers. I had a tough time coming up with anything for this.
Yeah, definitely the toughest team.
Speaking of this, to flip it over real quick, what a splash signing with Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, he's outstanding.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, so Chicago Bears. So I will say mine, and it's pretty obvious. There's no explanation needed because it's awful, and it's been awful all year. But I'm going to leave one of the things that could be said to one of these guys, and they'll probably know what I'm saying after what I say what my pick is. But once again, the issue with the Chicago Bears this year and their disappointment, once again, is coaching. I mean, he's gone, but Eberflus' decision on Thanksgiving against the Lions. Pal, you know what you should have done?
Yeah, it's pretty simple.
Pretty simple. And the concepts that they have for Caleb is stupid, though Caleb has been inconsistent this year. They did the same thing with Justin Fields. And there seems to be a pattern with Chicago Bears coaching. So that's why I say, once again, this season, their biggest disappointment has been coaching. Now, I've already said his name, so let's see if Jonah or Alex picks that route.
Go ahead.
I will actually go. I'll do you one better, Mikey. I think it's
Damn it, you're doing the exact thing I was going to do.
I think it is a whole organizational issue from ownership all the way down to the freaking maintenance staff. I think they are one of the most poorly ran organizations in sports. They have one of the biggest markets in America, and they have consistently failed to do anything correctly. They've gone through, this is the third time they've now drafted a quarterback high in the first round, fired the coach within a year. They did it with Trubisky. They did it with, I think Lovie Smith drafted him. And then they did it with Matt Nagy and Justin Fields. And they did it with Eberflus and Caleb Williams. I think the whole organization is an absolute dumpster fire. There's no accountability. There's no leadership. There's no football IQ, judgment, knowledge, experience, whatever it may be. It's a dumpster fire. And I don't think, I like the Bears. I like people from Chicago. But I think the organization will continue to be a mess until something in the ownership changes.
Yeah,
I don't.
Same thing, Jonah. Is exactly what I was going to say. Front office. How are you going to make the same mistake again? Matt Eberflus should have never been there after the end of last season. You could have fired him, brought in a whole new coaching staff, had them learn with Caleb, and develop the scheme with him, not have him come in, learn an entire scheme for half of the season, and then have to learn an entire new one going into his second year, and try and adjust in the in the second half of his first year. It's the same exact thing. I believe the order was Lovie Smith did it with, or wait, what was it?
Trubisky.
It was Nagy with Trubisky. Or no, wait. I'm trying to think. Because I think John Fox was before.
Yes, no, it was Fox.
It was Fox with
drafted
Trubisky, and then it was
yes.
Nagy with Fields.
Yeah.
And then it was
Eberflus and
Eberflus
yeah.
with Williams. Yeah, so I always forget John Fox got fired mid-season that year because I just remember it being Matt Nagy with Mitch Trubisky. But they did the same thing. Yeah, it was Fox that drafted Trubisky. He got fired mid-season. And then Nagy drafted Fields, got fired mid-season. And now Eberflus got fired mid-season with Caleb Williams. So as a front office, you just have to know better at this point.
Train coming by.
You have to know better at this point. You're a professional sports team front office. You have to see the pattern. You have to eliminate the pattern. You have to change. You have to do something better. And they
won't.
Still haven't.
They won't. It never will happen. They will need complete new ownership, like gut the place top to bottom before anything serious changes. I don't think the ownership wants a strong personality at the head coach position, so they can just, whoever's that head coach is just going to bend over and grab their ankles for the ownership. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's never going to change.
We're not doing a bold take segment today, but I'm gonna put down a bold take right now. I think in the duration of if they pick up his 5th-year option or if they pay him, I'm just gonna say regardless of contract, if Caleb is in Chicago for the first 5 years of his career, he will see 3 new groups of staff, whether it be management, coaches, or both.
I agree. And I
he
think
will
Caleb,
see 3 new rounds of staff in that amount of time.
Like, is Caleb Williams weird? Yeah. I think he's a phenomenal talent at the quarterback position.
So do I.
Like, I think he could be outstanding, but they just have completely failed to develop him in any sense. He's actually regressed since he's gotten to the NFL. And, like, yeah, everyone's going to have their rookie slump, whatever, but he's actually, like, gone so far backwards. Like, it's sad.
It's crazy, though. If you look at his week-by-week stats, he is actually statistically performing, for the most part, significantly better since the beginning of their, 9-game losing streak at this point.
Yeah.
He's actually not having a terrible rookie year at all. He's completed 62% of his passes. He has 3,200 yards, 19 touchdowns, and 5 picks.
No, that's not bad at all.
Dysfunctional mess.
That's what I'm saying. But, like, I just feel like he seems so overwhelmed, and he was a guy that was so freaking confident coming in, and now he just looks defeated. And I get it, but like defeated and just so overwhelmed and over his head, which I would be too. Anyone would.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, look how many times Fields was looking defeated on the sideline when he was in Chicago. Like, there's times with that too. So, damn, it would have been so funny if that one of you said. So the biggest disappointment for the Chicago Bears this year was the Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
But I feel like Eberflus deserved at least its own category, so I took care of that. But
no, I agree, Mike.
Oh yeah, he's got to catch heat.
Yeah, he was such an idiot. You could see it in his face. He was dumb. You could look through his eyes, see there was nothing going on back there. He was such an idiot.
I mean, when you look like Derek Shelton, then you look like an idiot. All right.
Also, real quick, I didn't do my Lions one because I think I went with the Vikings first. But I think if the Lions don't win the biggest reason the Lions couldn't win the Super Bowl this year is because Dan Campbell goes for it on 4th down one too many times, or Jared Goff has an old-fashioned goofball game. I think those are the 2 only possibilities that the Lions don't. The 2 biggest reasons the Lions wouldn't win the Super Bowl this year.
And also, we need to clarify, Lions fans that are watching this, we have loved Dan Campbell ever since he got to Detroit.
Facts. As a possible third reason is that the Lions literally have like 20 defenders on the injury report right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. But yeah. So Jonah, thanks for coming on once again.
Yes, thank you for having me, guys. It's always fun.
Absolutely.
But so next is Elo's interview.
Yeah, baby.
Alex, there's still time. I don't have to air it.
Elo, baby. Yeah, baby.
I promoted it. Yeah, the man from Delaware, the guy that caught the game winner against IUP. Let's go.
Yeah,
Alex,
baby.
send it to his interview.
I I'll do a different thing today.
Just pick
I don't
different
have a
items
piece of
each week.
paper. I don't have a piece of paper on hand. Let's throw a playing card.
Oh
This is your
god.
card for the day.
Oh god, I can't even see it.
Queen of Hearts is your card for the day. Good night, America.